Hello home mechanics. I wanted to share with you an unusual tool kit I have. I ran across this some years ago at Orchard Supply Hardware. Just happened to be walking through the store past the tool department and I noticed a big sign for this kit. It's pretty pricey. It's $250 more than I wanted to spend, especially seeing as I didn't need a tool kit at the time. But by and by I happened to go need something in a tool department and got over there and I saw the signs and I discovered what an unusual tool this is, and it's pretty trick, to tell you the truth. Let me show you what we got. See if you can see that. It's called Metrinch. It's metric and it's inch. This is the kit I carry with me in my Jeep when we go off-road. A tool kit pretty much of this size, these many wrenches, these many sockets over at, at Harbor Freight, it probably cost you, what, $49? $50? Well, this is $250, and it was quite a bit of money. And but once I discovered it, noticed, if you will, the odd cuts of the wrench. Let me get a regular wrench to compare it with. See, here's a regular wrench, and then here's this one. Notice how strange it is. Well, this regular wrench, all wrenches, metric and US, what they're designed to do, they're designed to grab the points of the nut or the bolt head. This is not. It's designed to grab the flats. When what happens when you run into trouble with the bolt is that the points have worn off or been stripped off. So if you have a bolt that's stripped off, this will grab the flats and this will turn it, while a regular inch wrench won't. So it's a pretty nice set, actually. Now the wrenches start at 3/8 or 10 millimeter. I swear in the metric world 10 millimeter seems to be their favorite size. And they got this nice case and snaps these in. The biggest one's 13/16. It could be a little bigger, I guess. But the socket is pretty monstrous, well, not monstrous, but it's 1 1/4 plus 31 millimeters. And just like the wrench, it grabs onto the flats. So these tools will actually, it'll handle 3 kinds of fasteners: US inch sizes, metric millimeter sizes, and stripped. And so it comes with a 1/2 inch drive. That's what all of these are. And then it's even got a real breaker bar there using this extension. And then it's got 3/8 and 3/8 socket. Oh, I was going to tell you about the socket. So the big 1/2 inch drive starts at 1 1/4, and the little one, again, 3/8 10 millimeter. For the 3/8 drive, now this, they give you deep, 1/4, 3/8, and the shorts. And the 3/8 deep, again, 3/8 10 millimeter, but it only goes up to well, 7/8. So it goes up the next size, bigger than the wrench. And I think that's the same for this. Yeah, same for the short sockets. Yeah. Now the quarter drive is a little smaller, as you would expect, because it is only quarter drive. So this is a 3/16 it begins. Looks like a half. No, it says 15/30 seconds. It's a hair under a half. And then these little sockets, the little short sockets here, are probably the same. You have a thumb driver, which is a ratchet, if you need that. And it's got a 1/4 inch universal joint. And these things snap in there so they hold on pretty good. You've got a little adapter here so you can use the 3/8 drive for the 1/4 inch sockets. But personally, I like to do it the other way around. I like to use a 1/4 inch drive socket ratchet, a 1/4 inch drive ratchet to drive 3/8 if I don't need any more torque than that. I really hate to use, for instance, if you had a little bitty 1/4 inch nut or bolt you're driving, I would really hate to drive it with this big, great big old wrench. This thing would over torque that off of something awful. You could snap that so easy. So that's why I like to use my little bitty, what is that, 2-inch, 3-inch ratchet I got. That way it doesn't allow you. But does have a socket driver, or a nut driver, yeah, socket driver, and it has a socket here in the back. So if you are gonna, you can use this as an extension, because as you see, where is it? Right here. There's just a little bitty, what was that, 2 or 3 inch extension for quarter drive. So this gives you a little more. That actually looks like 12. So it's not a bad little set. Oh yeah, and there's a U-joint for the 3/8, but no U-joint for the 1/2 inch. You're on your own, I guess. And this set hasn't got much use. My first Jeep was a raggedy ass 1977 CJ7, and I was laying underneath that thing most every weekend. Man, I carried tools and parts every place I went. And by and by, in 2003, I found myself in a position I was able to afford a brand new Jeep, and man, I was ready for one. I had a belly full. I loved that CJ, but I really had a belly full of working on the damn thing. And I like working on cars, but man, that rig there gave me a belly full of repair work. I had better things to do. So I bought my new Jeep, and I bought this kit. And with a little bitty tool, a little 6-inch tool kit with a small ball peen and a couple pairs of pliers and a couple of screwdrivers, that's my full tool kit. So let me show you how these tools work on a fastener. Alright, so let me show you what we got here. If I can. There we go. So here's a good bolt head, brand new, matter of fact, and this one here I rounded off on my grinder for you to let you see what's going on here. Now, if we take a regular inch wrench, and this is a 1/4 inch, it just turns. But we take our Met wrench, put it on there, and there it goes. That'll do it. And so these wrenches are pretty trick and pretty handy to have, especially on the cars they make today. Most all of them have a mixture of US and metric fasteners. Well, a US made car. These Japanese and German brands, I'm sure it's metric from tail to head. But US, they always got a mix, and a lot of guys always grumble and gripe. Oh, why did they do it partially this way and partially that way? I don't think it was actually designed to be half metric and half US. I think it has to do with the guy who's bidding parts, and they put you know, say exhaust manifold bolts out to bid, and the guy who wins the bid just happens to be a foreign manufacturer, and they're metric, and so he won the bid. So that's what the bolts are, and but it is kind of a hassle. I remember I was a truck mechanic when was it 1981 or 2? We got some Chevy trucks, and they had I can't remember what engine was in those things, but it was a foreign-built diesel engine, and I was surprised it wasn't a Detroit, because GM owned Detroit diesel back in those days, but it wasn't. It was some foreign-built diesel, and so it had metric and US, so we had to go out and buy some metric tools, and it's kind of a hassle because you never knew exactly which wrench to grab when you're heading under the hood. But oh well. Anyway, so that's my cool tool kit, and it's like I said, it hasn't had much use, seeing as I drove my new '03 Jeep for 11 years, so I don't recall that one ever breaking down on the trail. Boy, did that CJ break down on the trail, more than once. I can't tell you, but it always got us home. And now I got the 12, and it's I haven't had to lay a wrench on it yet, except for changing fluids and such. Oh, now this Metrinch company, they're on the internet, but according to their U.S. supplier, they is out of Los Angeles. They're the only people there, but so if you're interested, you could find them. I was hoping somebody on Amazon would have them know. Oh, but I was going to tell you about when I bought them. Like I told you, there was quite a bit of money, more money than I wanted to spend, and so once I learned how cool they were, I kept watching them, and every time I'd go to that store, and I go to that store a lot, even now, and but I go through there and I keep my eye on them, and apparently they couldn't sell too many of them. Nobody was really that interested. So by and by they decided to get rid of them. So they started lowering the price, and it went from $250 to $199 to $169 to $99. I think it was $69 what I paid for that kit, which is pretty nice. That's almost $200 savings. What is that? 180, something like that, and. I made quite a few purchases over the years that way. I'd see something start heading down, and just hold your horses and be patient, and you can end up with a pretty good bike. All right, we'll see you on the next project.